All right, let's just hop into it, chat. We've got some Maskwood Nexus shenanigans again today. This is a deck that we played before that felt very reasonable the first time we played. I'm interested to see if that was a fluke or if we can run it back with some success. So Maskwood Nexus here says your creatures are every creature type everywhere, and you could tap it to make a shapeshifter. And we leverage this, our creatures, every creature type everywhere, in a few different ways. So first is Magda's actually a dwarf lord that makes all of your dwarves make a treasure when they become tapped. It's not just herself. So when you have this out, she makes all your things an extra attack, and she makes all of them generate treasures. And then when they're all generating treasures, this makes it easy to search up, you know, dragons or other artifacts and stuff like that. We've got Dragonkin Berserker, that its boast gets cheaper for every dragon you control, making pumping out dragons cheaper. When our creatures are every creature type, it means Squad Commander is able to have a party and give everything one attack and indestructible very quickly. What else do we got? Oh, the real meme dream that this deck does is the World Tree searches up gods for you. And if your stuff is gods everywhere, you could just floop every creature from your deck directly into play. And it's actually quite easy to get lots of colors of mana with the World Tree because we have Magda making lots of treasures and we have Goldspan doubling treasures up. So let's go ahead and dive on into some games with this and see if this one was a fluke the first time we played it, or if we can have some success today with it. I'm planning to do 2 to 3 more decks after this one today. And I've got like over a dozen different decks loaded up, and we're going to let folks at home do deck voting for all the other decks we're going to play today after this one. So if you hang out, you'll get to pick some of the stuff that we play today. Yeah, it seems reasonable. What do I want to bottom? I think it's Sentinel. Can't play it on one anyways. We go tapped land, untapped land, this. Although I guess if I... One thing that's a touch awkward here is I want this to be my white land. So if I want red on 2, I need to play this on 1. A little bit awkward mana sequencing. Memzol, thanks for the half a year prime. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, that'll work out. Should have just played this on 1 and believed, Chip. Thanks for the follow, y'all, Rook. Two with first strike does a heck of a job holding down the fort here too, which is nice. Named Dwarf with this. Two with first strike. 2-3 concede. All right, deal. Listen, we take those, chat. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth, okay? Now, unfortunately, against an aggressive deck, I am going to board out the Maskwood aspect of the deck. It is sadly just not very good. So we're just going to become a kind of Naya mid-rangey deck with a bunch of boarding and a bunch of interaction. Against white aggro especially, Maskwood's tough because it doesn't impact the board. Against the green, more mid-rangey aggressive decks, we'll leave Maskwood in. We mulligan this because of the mana. Can't play this on 1, no red source. It's for the 3rd of a year, chronically ill. No brawl on the schedule for today. I think we're probably only going to be doing brawl once or maybe twice a week. The metrics on the brawl videos have been pretty bad, unfortunately. And That mixed with the fact that I have a bunch of both standard and historic decks I'd like to play right now makes it a little bit hard to justify putting a lot of time into that format. I've got a pretty laundry list of things I'd like to play in both the others that are more popular. I think we just rip apart the Lumiarch here. Yeah, I agree, Lucas. And it doesn't surprise me that Brawl's popularity is down at the moment because standard and historic are both feel like worth playing. Yeah, it'll probably be up for deck voting at some point, Slim Jim. I don't have it loaded up today, but it's on my... I plan to get around to most of the things that are up on the website. I'm gonna go ahead and trade off here since I have another one in hand. Yeah, if they daggered the atmosphere, I definitely double block. So, I didn't make a treasure because if I make a treasure, it taps the Sentinel, and then I can't threaten to double block the 4-2. And if I can't threaten to double block the 4-2, they get to attack with it for free. So I'd have taken 4 more damage. We're just dead at this point. I guess I could hit like a Wrenn and Seven here or a Chariot. Another land definitely doesn't do it. Oh, even Wrenn and Seven we were dead through, right? We make a blocker and then we take 5 here. Not a whole ton we could do there. Just had a lot of lands and no action. Try and take him game 3 on the play here. There's anybody here this morning already that's addicted to Pokemon Unite like myself outside of Magic. They announced a big balance patch is coming tomorrow, along with the introduction of Greedent as a new playable character. So that sounds fun and exciting. I mean, I don't know that last game was really about us having tapped lands so much as, like, we just didn't have spells at the end. Like, we had okay things to play out there at the beginning. They did, yeah, they're nerfing Lucario. They're buffing a handful of Pokemon again. They adjusted something on Venusaur, I think Giga Drain if I recall. And they also are rebalancing some of the objectives. So they made Rotom a little bit more powerful, and they nerfed Dreadnought and Zapdos. A very, very small amount. No plays turn 1 or 2 seem good for us. They have a removal spell for this Magda. I'm no longer clueless. Yeah, they nerfed Blastoise too, which I think is good. I think Blastoise is one of the better characters. I think that's a good proactive nerf because, like, with Lucario going down, Blastoise would definitely be there. Be towards the top. Get another green land before we get to here. I'd be very surprised if Lucario wasn't still playable. They said they're making his passive cooldown longer and they're dropping his attack stat. We won't have numbers until the patch goes live. Our hand is a little bit hot. You 100% could, Civilized Scholar. It could be the deck after this one if you'd like. Assume they take Wrenn and Seven here because... Yeah, I assumed Historic. And yeah, that's fine. It can be the deck after this one. Yeah, taking Wrenn makes a lot of sense. If I spike a green source next turn, they'd be in a lot of trouble. Honestly, I think we're in a pretty good spot regardless here, though. We have to, like, drop Dragonkin plus kill something. It doesn't look like they have a way to address the Chariot, so we'll be able to start cracking in with that and making tokens. I'm supposed to wait to play the Dragonkin. If they double block and have a protection spell here, I get into trouble, right? Hey, thanks for the 3/4 of a year, Electron. Yeah, I don't really know what my opponent kept that game. They like didn't make any plays on turn 1 or turn 2, and that's definitely not the role that they have in that matchup, right? Like, there's a reason why I boarded in a bunch of removal spells to be super interactive. So, depending on how much they nerf Lucario's attack stat by Come Eat Pizza, I think nerfing Lucario's attack stat does do a good job of addressing the problems with him. Because the reason why Lucario is able to 2-to-1 so easily in the early lane is because his last hitting potential is so much higher than a lot of the other Pokemons. So by dragging Lucario's attack stat down, it won't be able to last hit quite as well early, which means other people will actually be able to contest farm against it in ideal world, I think. It'll depend on how much the metric is for sure though. Electron, thanks for 3/4 of a year. Welcome back. Hey, congrats, Pyro Delver. Yeah, that sounds great. Has all of our colors of mana, has 3 good spells. Yeah, I think Lucario's kit itself is actually very reasonable and sweet. I think messing with the actual stat lines and things makes a lot of sense. Dead, Jim. You've murdered him. So they're blue-red, but they're notably not snow. Is interesting. Now, the real question here is, am I supposed to play around like Jawari Disruption? I'm gonna go with no. Gate. I was gonna get us at some point anyways. They're increasing the cooldown of Lucario's passive, HR Beck. Is what the note said, I believe. Play a Spike Field Hazard. Could I have a second one? Yeah, what Beck said. So, like, the games where your teammates ignore Dread feel unbalanced. The reason why the teammates in those games are ignoring Dreadnought is because they don't understand how the game works at a macro level and what's important. So you're probably still going to lose those games because it means your teammates aren't good. All right, well, we have the post com. I guess they could have a dragon fire. I guess we'll start by attacking and see what they do. Okay, so we have the treasure. So I have the post combat Goldspan here if I want it. And I think I want it. He says before getting Jawari disruptioned. Anything you can do, I can do also. I can breathe dragon fire on you. Do 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 do. Opponent is having some trouble expressing themselves this morning, chat. They have a lot of choices and feelings inside, and they need to just let them out. Exile some of them, draw some of them, put some of them on the bottom of the deck. So many feels. Hey, Logan, thank you for that very generous tier 3. Thanks for the 16 months. Welcome back. Are we sure it's not supposed to be expressive irritation? This deck's got way more good cards in it than I was expecting, Scholar. This is actually probably pretty reasonable. Well, if they don't have a sweeper, we're in a pretty good spot. I guess maybe not good. They could have other things that put us behind. They have 5 cards in hand, and they have this this deluge. Okay. Come on, let me trigger my Dragonkin. I assume they have another removal spell here because I think Dragonkin's more threatening than the god overall, so I'm assuming my 2/2's about to die as well here. Okay, drawing that after they've pulled the trigger on Prismari Command is decent. Oh, I was probably your tier 3 from last month, Logan. Twitch is weird, and when you pay isn't exactly when it rolls forward or whatever. That was easily one of the most confusing and worst updates Twitch has ever done. Or like the day you sub and your sub anniversary and when you pay are technically different days. So I put a stop on my main phase here because had this commander resolved, I was going to use the mana from Sentinel to make a 2/2, so that we would have gotten 3 party triggers. Thanks for the biddies, genius. I appreciate the support. Think I want to just make a 2/2. I don't really need that extra mana for anything in particular. So, I talked with my Twitch rep about the price, the Twitch sub price difference like they added, and close to 90% of my paid subs before they changed that were from countries that aren't going to have a pricing difference. So my bottom line hasn't really meaningfully changed. I think like 80, a really interesting metric from my Twitch stats is about 50% of the viewers on my channel are from the United States, but people from the US make up over 80% of my subscribers. And then another 10% past that is like UK, Ireland, and Canada, places that have similar currency rates. Yeah, it's so weird that like a site like that where you could buy a sub at a reduced price and pocket a negligible overhead, like people that are subbing to creators on places like Twitch, right? You're doing it like because you want to support the person, so like trying to like work the system to get a discount when your goal was to support anyways, it's like a pretty minor thing. Wonder if it's a time zone thing. Yeah, maybe. That's true. We do provide services here in Oaklandia. Yeah, Smoldering Egg with the Deluge in the bin is real scary here. Yeah, like there's a good chance this game is over. Wait, really? I'm surprised they didn't attack with this and then Deluge to flip their egg. Ooh, that's a good point. It is just raw viewer data. It's not based on watch time. We're probably dead next turn, right? Like I imagine this Smoldering Egg flips and they kill us. Thanks for the 5 months, damn Wang. Yeah, and then at this point, even if like they don't kill us this turn, there's just no recovery from here, right? For the follow mana mission. Alright, definitely want Wrenn against the Dragon's deck. Honestly, Wrenn might be it. Reidane doesn't seem very good here. It's good against like exactly their epiphanies. think our main deck's pretty well situated here. Honestly, I know it'll probably sound strange to say because that game didn't involve it at all, but I feel like games like that are such a good testament to why just like getting rid of Aldrin's Epiphany would be good for the format. Because like the blue-red dragons deck is so powerful even without that card. Like it has so many good things going on for it. It's honestly a lot like the same argument about memory lapse. Where like, okay, if you get rid of memory lapse, all the memory lapse decks are like still reasonable and decent. They're just a bit worse, which makes the power level of the format lower, which lets more decks be competitive. The higher power level of format is, the less things tend to be playable, because the kind of litmus test of what you need to pass to be playable gets higher. I think that mandatory army service, like a lot of countries do in Europe and other places, I think that's wrong. But I would be very much in favor of requiring young people to do a year or two of paid public service in some way that would include army service if you wanted to do that. So like you need to work at like a library or the post office or some kind of entity that like serves the public. I think that type of experience would be good and would give a lot of young people good perspective. Yeah. Yeah, and I think you could include military or whatever in the list of things that would be appropriate in that. But I would be very opposed to the military as the only option. You have to do this. Yeah, some type of service thing that benefits the public. Israel does something like that. You worked at a museum for a year. Yeah, see, like that. That's great. So our opponent's like far enough behind here, missing land drops, that I don't think I want to jam the Goldspan. Nah, if they had a Jawari disruption, they would have played it, right? Yeah, they would have played it as land. I'm just gonna jam. I was gonna say, I don't want to play into a sensor, basically, but they would have played a sensor as a land rather than miss a land drop. You have to manually renew the Prime Sub every month. They basically want to make sure that people aren't like setting and forgetting subs on channels they don't actually watch. So like every 30 to 31 days, I set a calendar reminder on my Google Calendar to make sure I use mine. I view using my Prime Sub every month as taking money away from Jeff Bezos, so I always make sure I can do that at any opportunity possible. He doesn't need any extra trips to space. That's true. A good reminder if you're someone that watches daily anyways is when if you see an advert on the channel, you'll know that your sub is up. Okay, so I think I don't know what phase we're in. So if I do this and make a mana, this happens, and then before the dragon dies, I can use this treasure for 2 to make a changeling token. Supposed to fire up the den here? This is probably wrong, actually, right? Because they just block here. I'm probably just supposed to play Dragonkin and activate Maskwood. Yeah, getting my land killed also isn't great. Chat, we might die to this person stuck on 2. Yeah, I should have done that. I should have left my land, and I should have just activated this and played this. Yeah, I mean they have five spells that are in hand right now, right? Yeah, they have 5 spells. They drew a land now. I'll take a... Actually, we don't even have any removals, right? I guess we draw like a Wrenn and Seven. Maybe they don't have any more instants or sorceries, chat. Yeah, when this thing flips over, you just get caught. It's a shame, because if we would have had 1 turn without them having it, we'd have won the game next turn, right? I'd have gotten to World Tree plus Maskwood next turn. Eight, 9. Yeah. And if I hadn't gotten my Den of the Bugbear killed, I would have had another token and another land. And then a land next turn would have, yeah, so I know, so games like this can be frustrating because it looks like we got unlucky, but I actually messed this game up, right? Like I had 2 key decisions and those decisions were the ones that mattered. Yeah, I didn't draw any spells after the fact, but like, had I had that extra land, I would have gotten another treasure too for making a shapeshifter token, and I would have had enough mana to activate the World Tree there at the end if I'd have been plus 1 mana. Definitely a loss that was avoidable on my part if I would have played better. Would have killed them on the spot there by flipping all the creatures into play. I'm hoping they surprise us, Bread, and it rolls out at 5 p.m. PST like the last couple of patches instead of midnight. It's gotta be a mulligan with no white land, unfortunately. Tap land, untap land, do this on 3. And then on 4, love it. Solid curve here. I mean, for reference, if you missed yesterday's Meta Monday, 1, you should go watch it on YouTube, but the metrics of how many people are playing Is It Dragons alone on the Untapped tracker is almost 25% in best of 3. And that's just the Dragons variation. It doesn't count all the various Is It and Grixis turns lists that are running around in addition to those. The format is very blue dabba-dee-dabba-die. Dabba-dee-dabba-die, dabba-dee-dabba-die, hi, hi, hi. So losing the cats is a little bit sad, but if this Reidane lives, Magda will be able to come down and then immediately crew the Chariot, which will be nice. Let's try and get this down to then crew with these two. And then Chariot here will actually be able to copy the treasure token. Ramp it up. Do. What if they have another Deluge here since they discarded that as their first one? Yeah, and Reidane's not even particularly good against Deluge because Deluge looks at a number of cards equal to the mana spent. So they get to look at 6 cards here and take 2. So, like, they're paying more mana, but they're also getting more effect for it. It's a little bit different than Dig Through Time, right? Because the fact that you get to cast it twice is a big deal. Makes me miss Mystic Dispute. I mean, it's important to remember that, like, Epiphany and Sultai Ultimatum were, like, best decks in their standard format, while Mystic Dispute was legal. Alright, so we do this. We let first strike happen. Now we Dragonfire the Lair. They'll Fading Hope their Lair. We'll Dragonfire the Lair again. Okay, so do I just make a dragon here now? I think I cashed my treasure tokens in for a 5/5. Hopefully they don't go burning down the house on us. think I want to hold these back in case they have another sweeper here down the line. Our foretold card was, in fact, Alderun's Epiphany. Man, am I supposed to leave Dragonfire in? Lear's like a must-answer card, but like if they don't have Lear, Dragonfire is so bad. I kind of feel like I'm supposed to like cut these and have these in the Test of Talents in. Sorry, thought I heard something out there. My house haunted, chip. I don't think my house is quite old enough to be haunted yet. Maybe famous last words. It's only like 13 years old, 14 years old, 2007 I think, 14 years old. What's going on, Coons? My house is haunted. Next YouTube video title, maybe. Would that successfully beat the clicks? The clicks, they must be beaten. Hey, Chip. Welcome to the, get ready to jam. Welcome to the slam. Get ready to slam, welcome to the jam. Is that how it goes? Chariots and dragons, oh my. All around me are familiar faces. Worn out spaces, worn out places. I find it kind of funny, I find it kind of sad. The spells in which I'm casting have found themselves back in my hand. It's a giant dragon, it just wants to attack. Will it end up coming back? To my hand. To my hand. Listen, shit, I can't match the normal pitch that song's supposed to have. So you get what you get, okay? It's a little outside of my range. That is true. The dragons going back to my hand is better than going on top of my deck. We get to cast this, so we can hopefully not get Epiphany next turn, he said before realizing Goldspan Dragon gave his opponent 9 mana. P-dubs! Thanks for the 5 months. Welcome back. Good morning, good morning. Just like those dragons, I keep coming back. Hello, darkness, my old friend. There they go, taking extra turns again. The Goldspan Dragons keep attack. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. All right. Goodbye, dragon friend. Oh, dragon friendo. Yeah. Yeah, just actually not going to have any cards in play for the remainder of the game. Good shit. No, I only had 3 mana available. Crystal. Now, I think as the opponent's deck just showed there, making their Epiphanies cost more mana largely doesn't matter. In fact, it's questionable if Reidane is even worth playing. Goldspan Dragon gives them copious amounts of mana, and they have plenty of ways to stall the game until they get to that point. Something like Curse of Silence is probably better and reasonable like Reidane against the dedicated combo versions, but the dedicated combo versions are worse than this variation. That I read the Orange Bigot statement about Powell's death. That creature thrives on being relevant, and you should ignore most things that he says and does. Because talking about and giving him the time of day gives him what he wants. Morning, Umager. The old double unsummon here. If you took a little bit of a break from Hoaglandia, Umager, we've been doing magic stuff consistently for a while now. I took a break about this time last year for a little bit, but we picked back up in February. We've been doing, 20 to 40 hours of magic stuff a week again since then. So it's been, what, 8 months now? Has Unsummon ever been this playable in a standard format? Yeah, Vapor Snag was a format defining card, so like Unsummon Plus has been playable. Has been playable a number of times. They don't have double red yet, so they can't quite Cinderclasm me. Thanks for the follow, Dr. Lover. Poor Chariot, chip. It's the part where we get Cinderclasmed. Feels like the part where we get Cinderclasmed. Hey, do you have spot removal or I get to make dragons? I get to make dragons, chat! That's good. This game is starting to drag on a little bit. Everybody loves a 5/5. My dragons are bigger than your dragons. Neener, neener, neener. Land, Lair, Vapor Snag your dragon. Hey, Shark and Bake. Thanks for the entire year. Welcome back. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Honestly, I'm probably not even supposed to attack with this, huh? If I play this and they counter it, I then can't make a dragon with this. Oh, I guess this is lethal if they don't, right? No, yeah, I'm supposed to jam this because if they interact with this but then don't interact with the board, they die. I don't have blue mana at the moment. The tested talents in the sideboard are maybe a little ambitious. You're trying to play them off of treasures. Yeah, because we have lethal if they counter, we're supposed to jam this here. So the 2.5 months Bolas, welcome back. We're gonna play some Grixis Valky in Historic after this Tumos, and then I've got like half a dozen different, or a dozen different decks that people could vote from. I'm gonna pick like 4 out for people to vote on. The opponent is a very good player and Italian streamer. If they're live or even if they're not, feel free to link their YouTube or Twitch or whatever in chat so other people can find them if they want to potentially see the match from the other side. As always, a general reminder, do not share information about what's in their hand that I wouldn't have. Grimmeldin, thanks for the 23 months. Welcome back. Finally warming up in my basement this morning, chat. We can take the sweater off. My soul hath been shattered. Think we just play this and this. It's a shame we don't have like a Chariot here to punish them tapping out. Getting my hand empty low on cards is good against teachings here as well. Odin stream shows a first edition Charizard in hand. Oh no, chat. All I have available is a Heracross, and it says its weakness is fire. We're screwed against a first edition Charizard. Oh, chat, we get to make a Dargon. I love Dargons, chat. Esika, thanks for the follow. Good morning. And this card kind of snowballs with itself too, so every time you make a dragon, its next boast cost gets even cheaper. I'm really looking forward to Pokemon TCG's new digital client, Logan. I hope it's reasonable to get cards on. And if it is, I can envision us playing it 1 or 2 days a week for a couple hours at least. I would be kind of surprised if their economy is as generous as Runeterra, but there's a lot of room for improvement between their existing model and Runeterra. My rank on their stream is different than what my stream shows. That's hilarious. Magic Arena is such a disaster. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people bounced off of Runeterra's gameplay, myself included, Shark and Bake. Which is unfortunate, but mine just doesn't click. It doesn't click. They do a lot of stuff right, but it's just not particularly popular, and like I kind of fell off of some of their more recent card designs. It's a personal preference thing. All right. I was just gonna say, is there a meat hook in my future? Okay, and just like that, you know, they have 5 cards in hand, and they have a deluge in the bin, so we're definitely behind at this point. The fact that we've drawn 2 of our 4 Dragonfires in the control matchup is not great. This is easily the first card we'll be boarding out. Yeah, I actually think one of Runeterra's biggest problems, Blevins, is that the tournament metagame not being relevant to what the average Runeterra player actually gets to play is tough. Because, like, I believe you that the tournament metagame's really good, but, like, as someone like me, if I wanted to dip in casually, the tournament metagame just, like, couldn't be less relevant to, like, actually playing, like, ladder and stuff, which is unfortunate. It doesn't, it like loosely translates in the same way that like best of 3 Magic translates to best of 1 Magic. Like there's some parallels, but there's also a lot of things that just don't. Ooh, I watched a how to play video for the updated Pokemon TCG video, or not Pokemon, Digimon TCG video, and the resource system in the new Digimon TCG reboot looks very interesting. If they did a digital kind, definitely something I'd check out. There's a lot of sweet card games. There's a lot of great things being done in the game design space in general from lots of different IPs. What's the reboot called? I actually don't know. It only has paper cards at the moment, and I just don't really do paper card games anymore. All my paper / physical gaming is done with board games like the shelf behind me. We actually just got a really good new board game that Christy got out of a Kickstarter. Oh god, I don't know what the name. I shouldn't talk about it because I don't know what the name is offhand, and people are gonna ask me for the name. Christy, are you watching right now? What's the donut game called? It's got a good solid American theme too. It's about a donut shop. I think she was yelling at me, but I can't hear. She's typing in Discord. She definitely heard me ask. Her office is directly above mine, so she has to hear me muffled making content all day. I'm not watching, but I can hear you through the floor. Dollars to donuts. Yeah, that's the one. Dollars to donuts. As a really good blend of drafting along with positioning things on your board. Really neat mix of elements from other games. I don't remember if there's another basic in my deck, so I'm gonna float a mana here, just in case there's not another basic. Aha! Thank you, Past Jeff. Because I don't want to make... These next two Field of Runes are going to wasteland us, which is unfortunate. Dividing my Maskwood Nexus by 0. It is better than Wasteland, yeah, because it's gonna get to give them a basic out of their deck. Warlord Saga of the Storm. Can't say that is one that I'm familiar with. So I could do this into this. I think I just Maskwood Nexus and make more tokens. Thanks for the tier 3 Lambton. Thanks for the over a year of support. Welcome back. They're getting priority with 1 blue, so I assume they have an unsummon here. We have 5-minute dungeon. There's a Digimon MMO coming. I'm usually not into MMOs when it comes to video games. They tend to have a lot of tedium / grinding in them. Thanks for the 43 months, Navier. Welcome back. That sub badge is going to change again later this week. I promise the rebrand stuff I've been teasing is almost done. It almost physically hurts that I can't share it yet, chat. Thanks for the 3.5 years, AGH. Good morning, good morning. Any game that has a lazy fisherman have me go collect 15 pieces of crab meat for them is not for me. That's a great way to put it. Thanks for the happy year, EMPJ. Yeah, I agree, Edmain. I heard about that too. Dice Throne is such a great core system, and I like the Marvel IP. Okay, so they're killing this, and then in response to them killing this, I'm gonna go ahead and make a token, so that way we have a full party when this trigger resolves. If they have a second meat hook here, we're probably ground out, but... And they get 8 looks at it, so they get to flashback their thing. Oh, we're just killing my lands, yikes. So 2 months, Papa Princess. Welcome back. I did, Cedrus. I'll do a full patch review on YouTube once we find out what the more detailed notes are. So once the patch goes live, we'll be able to farm out like what the actual number changes are, and then I'll give thoughts based on the number changes. Well, it's a real shame they could just kill our lands, because that would have been really good otherwise. Which Dice Throne do you get are a bunch. So each of the Dice Throne things are basically like pre-built decks or characters. So just picking up some of the lesser complex ones, they all have complexity / difficulty ratings on them. So if you're looking to get into it, I'd recommend just picking up like a pair of the ones that are marked a little bit less complicated to start. They're pretty cheap compared to Magic though. Like I think you can get a box with 8 characters in it for 80 bucks. It's like 10 bucks a character. Which is like basically free compared to Magic the Gathering. Why not just attack with everything at that point? Well, it's not free, right? Because like there's no guarantee that they have the sweeper, and like Meat Hook like gives them triggers and stuff, and like they have decent blocks and decent attack backs. Dice Throne is 1-on-1? No, it's designed for multiplayer too. You can play 2v2, free for all, 3v3, etc. There's rules variations for those. Yeah, the boys like it and are capable of playing. We usually give them the less complicated characters. And yeah, we usually play 2v2 with 1 boy on each team. Thanks for the follow, Fisherman Joe. Good morning. For people that are new to the channel like Fisherman Joe, my kids are 7 and 6. Then I have a 16-month-old as well. Okay, I have a command. Is Dice Throne in here? I think Dice Throne is in this picture. My Twitter would load. That picture doesn't want to appear to load on my Twitter, which is sad. Hopefully it's just my browser. Hey, Could have a real decent turn off our deck here. They've got a lot of mana. I also just got a bunch of looks at another sweeper here. Yep. Yeah, I'll do pig. We do actually, but I haven't played it yet. 3 Smith. So I definitely want Wrenn and Seven here for the control matchup. I think we want Dragonfire out very easily, and then probably Reidane. Slows them down a bit. The fact that this can't counter Meathook Massacre means it's not worth bringing in here. A big part of that game, you don't recognize if you just came in for the end, but we had 2 copies of Dragonfire that they mind rotted out of our hand that were stuck there for a while, so a big part of why we didn't have the resources to push the last couple points of damage there is because our opponent had virtual card advantage from us drawing blanks in game 1. Okay, cool. Yeah, my browser, my Chrome's being weird and doesn't want to load the picture. Oh, there it goes. Yeah, dice runs the bottom one. Good stuff. I'll just curse get boarded in. I think the submitter intended curse for the dedicated Epiphany matchups, but honestly, that might just be a waste of a sideboard slot at this point. It seems like a lot of people have moved away from the dedicated Epiphany decks and back towards the Goldspan Dragon Epiphany decks, which I think are much better, and curses goes from, like, mediocre to awful against. You're gonna have to show up each day to find out what the costumes are. I have a bunch in my shopping cart on Amazon. I'm gonna click order tonight on them. Yeah, this is good. We'll bottom squad commander here. Listen to this. I have not seen Historic Werewolves. What does Historic Werewolves get from Standard Werewolves other than better mana? And why is Historic Werewolves better than just playing Shamans? Those would be my 2 questions. What does it get moving into that format, and why is it better than just doing this other thing that is good? Yeah, Shaman says plenty of hasty beats. Yeah, that's Shamans gets to do that. So it's like Standard Werewolves with Collected Company. So 37 months Ninja Turtle. They should be ready later this week. We can maybe make a dragon this turn. If they kill Chariot, we don't get to, unfortunately. Feel like there's a good chance Chariot's dying. They don't have a 3rd land, so we're just gonna play another Dragonkin here. Unless they can't Meathook me next turn. Hey, Yarly, thanks for the entire year. Welcome back. well, far less interesting game 2 here. Hopefully we can get a decent game 3 here. Game 1 had a lot of back and forth. That one, not so much. Sometimes magic happens to the opponent's chip. Some days you do get to be the pigeon instead of the statue. I did not, Turtle. Our hand's kind of slow, but mulliganing in the attrition matchup doesn't sound particularly exciting. Right on time to drop. Welcome to the party. My body is ready to miss our third land drop after keeping 3 lands on our fourth land drop after keeping 3 lands on the draw. This is where the magic happens. So we got 1 good game out of 3, I suppose. The really most powerful thing about Realmwalker here is it lets me concede this turn, because I know I won't hit my land drop next turn either. So really, it's like a prophetic card. It saves me some time. So this lets us know that we can be done here a turn sooner. Yep, some games you're the pigeon, other games you're the statue, chat. Alright, let's draw an untapped land for turn 2, huh? Yeah, the tough part about a lot of games that remove resource variance from them is that they sacrifice a lot of deck building depth to remove resource variance. I really think that's Magic's biggest strength compared to most other card games on the market is that Magic is a much better deck building game than most others that exist. Like, I think Mythgard's probably one of the only ones that's come close to the deck building depth of Magic. Having games free of resource variance is kind of relaxing. I actually don't know if I actually don't know that I agree with that. Oh, you're saying that, yeah, that's exactly what I agree with. Okay, yes. Okay, so you and I are on the same page. I completely agree with that having free games happen because of resource variance is incredibly relaxing. Dominion. Yeah, Dominion's a good one. I often consider Dominion. Dominion basically birthed the kind of deck building game genre. There's, I don't know if you can kind of see it down in the bottom left-hand corner there. Pointing backwards is difficult and mirrored. There's a bunch of boxes of Dominion there. Welcome to chat, Mike. Thanks for the support. Yeah, the Magic having those kind of gimme games on both sides allows you to, like, be playing Magic while also relaxing a little bit. Yeah, Ascension came after Dominion and definitely built on things that Dominion did well. See if they have a counter spell here. They have like an unsummon, but even an unsummon here is fine for us. Yeah, game 1 negate. The Marvel deck building game might be the worst balanced board game I have ever played in my entire life. And that one's not just a Jeff opinion. I know lots of gamers out there that have played a lot of games that's an opinion that they hold. There's a Marvel deck building game. I think Cryptozoic makes it that like it's really poorly balanced. There are a number of cards that if you've played, it's been long enough since I've touched it because it's so imbalanced that I don't remember the specific names of cards, but like there are a number of strategies in that one where just like they're significantly better than everything else. I did see Mythgard got sold to, or given away or something to another group. It's exciting. I actually don't know the answer to that question. I know the Pokemon TCG was produced by Wizards of the Coast at one point, but did WotC do the original design? I mean, there's dozens of ways you could reduce resource variance, Guzzaloo. Yeah, you know, honestly, the last time we played this deck, I think I'm actually just gonna be done with this one. This set's not been very good, and part of the reason why this set has not been very good was because the last time we played this deck, Fading Hope wasn't everywhere, and there were more creature decks in the format, and our matchup against these omnipresent blue-red decks just seems, it just seems unplayable. It seems unwinnable. We don't have enough aggression. Our cards are super expensive. And we just get Fading Hoped into oblivion, which is big sad. So this one felt okay, and maybe there's a world where we revisit this somewhere in the future, but I think as long as we're kind of living in the Aldrune's Epiphany format, this is one that I'm not gonna accept again to play. It just does not feel competitive into those. Yeah, I think this is actually a good example of one of the many types of decks that can be competitive against green and white aggro that just gets completely shoved out of the format by the fact that the Epiphany decks are doing what the Epiphany decks are doing. I think the meta game would likely be a lot more interesting, diverse, and healthy without the Epiphany decks lording over the kind of mid-rangey decks like this.